My journey into Gust's long-running, cozy Atelier RPGs may have started a little late in the series' life, but in that time I've come to be enamored with the games. Each game usually tells a standalone story and falls firmly into the JRPG bracket. However, what set the Atelier series apart for me is the focus on stories that really had anything to do with saving the world, and instead focused on saving or making your community better. It's a series about friendship, community, and the journeys you go on together, one in which alchemy makes the journey that much better, and it's a concept I found to be thoroughly refreshing. Later games in the series have delved into larger themes beyond the borders of mere community, with some even changing tone and direction. With 27 titles in the series, some change has to come along somewhere down the line. But it's always the games based around characters and friendship that bring me back to this enchanting series, and with Atelier Resleriana, the Red Alchemist and the White Guardian, Gust have brought the series back to its cozy and uplifting roots. Set after the events of Forgotten Alchemy and the Polar Knight Liberator, sadly a mobile and PC gacha title that reached the end of its life earlier this year, the Red Alchemist and the White Guardian throws you into the shoes of dual protagonists Rias and Slade, who come together by chance in the depths of some ancient ruins. Their discovery of an atelier and Rias's gift of a natural-born alchemist puts them on a long journey together to restore their hometown of Helfine, which was damaged in a mysterious incident some 12 years before. World tragedy and the makings of something darker add depths to our heroes. The Red Alchemist and the White Guardian firmly places its storytelling boots in what got me interested in the Atelier games to begin with, the light-hearted and heartfelt desire to make life better for others. Slade may be on a journey to decipher his father's secrets, but Rias embraces the role of becoming a better alchemist, so she can use that skill to improve the lives of others. Along the way, they're joined by an assortment of amusing characters. New party members join, and there are various cameos of major characters from the other Atelier games, popping up to keep the story light-hearted and fun. There's a lot of cutscenes, fully voiced dialogue and story bits here to keep the game progressing at a steady enough pace, and it's all wonderfully engaging. That story is backed up with some addictive gameplay that made it hard to put down. There are a whole bunch of systems at play here, from turn-based battles to harvesting mechanics and even running a shop, all of which you're going to have to contend with. For the most part, the developers have made most of the systems easy to understand and link them together towards one of your main goals, rebuilding Helfine. When you first get to Helfine, damaged buildings and mostly empty streets meet your arrival, but as you begin to fix the place up, new shops open, more people appear outdoors, and more customers come to your shop. It's a nice visual showcase and satisfying feedback for all your hard work. Rias has a store in town that you can run and upgrade over the course of the adventure. The sales you make benefit one of Helfine's industries, from mining to nature. Running the store is easy peasy, especially if you hire fairies to do all the work for you. You can let them choose which products to sell if you want to, or spend some time picking them yourself, and you can customize the interior with wallpaper and products that boost sales. All of the products you sell can be found in the field, through the game's harvesting mechanics, which are just as easy. You'll need to craft new harvesting tools to harvest from specific sources, or get rarer and high-level resources, but harvesting is as simple as pressing the action button and watching your character whack the resources into existence with one swing. Combat is one of the game's other joys. It's traditional turn-based JRPG fare, but with just enough depth to keep battles interesting and fun. There's a timeline you can use to plan your attacks, which is very useful as sections of the timeline come with buffs that can affect you or the enemies. Interrupting enemy attacks can delay them, but also let one of your party members make use of the buff attribute. There's a front and back line row for party members, and you can use technique points built up in battle to initiate combat moves that swaps their places at the end of the turn. Backline party members don't take part in battles otherwise, but everyone receives experience from combat regardless. Once unlocked and a gauge is built up, you get an automatic combo attack by frontline party members that uses special attacks, and, along with the swap-out mechanic, typically decimates foes in beautifully explosive displays. The problem is, even with field and dungeon bosses, the combat may be too easy for some. Personally, I love the difficulty curve of the game, which does get a bit harder in the latter half, and the ease with which foes were decimated. It kept fights short, interesting and fun, while making it never feel like I was grinding. In fact, this is one of the game's strengths. Grinding, whether for XP or items, never feels like a grind at all, because the game is such joyous, breezy fun to play. Alchemy does present a fair amount of complexity that I feel the game doesn't explain as well as it could have. There's a lot to take in when trying to craft the perfect item, from color-coded items that increase an item's level, to various effects that can be crafted into it, along with a transmutation function that can be used to change one item to another. There's a fair amount to wrap your head around, especially when you get a request to craft an item you don't have a recipe for yet. One area the Red Alchemist and the White Guardian does drop the ball a bit on, along with showing its mobile routes, are the game's dimensional path dungeons. These areas are procedurally generated rooms that take you across different floors of enemies to find more fairies, chests, items, and story snippets for Slade. They accomplish the goal of giving you more enemies and repeatable bosses to fight, but they don't have the strength of a handcrafted dungeon. From a performance and visual perspective, the Red Alchemist and the White Guardian runs at a stable and smooth 30 frames per second on the original Nintendo Switch. I encountered no performance issues, but that smooth performance does come at a cost to the visuals. Make no mistake, the game does have its visual flair, especially in the character designs, but the visuals have a fuzzy, aliased look to them that we've come to expect from a lot of multi-platform Nintendo Switch games. With Atelier Resleriana, the Red Alchemist and the White Guardian, Gust have taken the Atelier series back to its cozy RPG roots, featuring fun and endearing characters, and they've backed up those themes with highly addictive and fun gameplay that made the game incredibly hard to put down, despite the somewhat muddy visuals on Nintendo Switch. Fans of the Atelier series will love the game, while those looking for a new RPG series to dive into can do no wrong by starting with the stunning gem.
If you've got this far, please consider giving the video a like and maybe subscribing to our channel, as it helps us grow.